Welcome to Move with Maegen. I'm Maegen. Everyone can grab a mat or a comfortable place on the ground, or you can also use a comfortable spot on the bed. All right. So we'll start by laying down on our backs. And we'll just get comfortable by starting with the knees bent and the feet flat on the ground. And we're just going to start with a few nice deep breaths. You can put one hand on your belly and you can put one hand on your chest. And we'll just start by taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. So again, inhaling, feeling your body expand with the oxygen, and then exhaling, feeling your lungs and diaphragm relax. So we'll do a few more deep breaths in and a few more deep breaths out. And as we breathe, I'll say that our oxygen and our blood cells are one of our main life forces. All day, every day, inhaling. Whether we're doing it consciously or unconsciously, we're exhaling. And our blood cells carry a certain percentage of oxygen. So breathing in and breathing out. Usually around 100% is great. 98 to 100% is really good. Inhaling and letting it out. But with the recent onset of COVID, we're finding people who are running at 50 or 60% or only half of their oxygen capacity. So let's all breathe in and breathe out. So right now we're tuning into our breath and our body and making sure we're using that 100% oxygen capacity. And exhale. Nice. Now you can bring your hands back down on the mat, and we'll start moving the low back by trying to flatten the low back down to the mat. So pressing down, pausing, and then slowly releasing. So again, finding that arch or that curve in the low back, pressing that down towards the ground as we exhale or inhale, and then going the other way, breathing in to release, exhaling as you squish the low back down. So we'll do a few of these pelvic tilts, pausing as you release, letting the back come off, and then breathing as you go down, flush to the ground. So as we do a few of these pelvic tilts, just kind of massaging the low back into the ground, I'll say that while our oxygen and our blood flow are super strong in our body, do you know what else is super strong? Moms. And I saw my mom on Instagram there, so I wanted to give a shout out and say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. And thank you for everything you do. You make us strong, just like our bodies do. And we love you. So again, breathing in and then exhaling, pressing that low back down to the ground one more time. Great. So now we'll work into some muscles that are a little bit lower down from the low back, more down towards the pelvic floor, which is kind of like a hammock or sling of muscles that hang underneath our pelvis. I want you to pretend like you are trying to pee, but then midstream you have to stop yourself. So use those muscles, think about going, and then stop, squeeze. And then continue to imagine that stream kind of flowing, that waterfall sound, and then squeeze and stop. And then release it, let it go a little bit more. So it can be a hard muscle to think about turning on, but that turning off the pee is kind of the easiest way to think about it. So turning it off and then turning it back on Again, stopping that, squeezing up and in, and then releasing. So as you squeeze and as you stop, there's that sling, that hammock, it pulls upwards, closer towards our rib cage, towards our belly. And using the breath again to think about squeezing and stopping and release. And it can be very difficult when you first start, if you've just had a pregnancy or had a baby, or if you have any other pelvic floor dysfunction. When we cough, sneeze, laugh sometimes, if we pee, that is not normal. And there are luckily things that we could do to stop that. And this is one of those things by practicing the pelvic floor muscle strengthening. If you have trouble with any of those things, talk to your local physical therapist. But we'll do one more squeeze and then release. It's always good to know that somebody can help. You never have to live with these things. Next, take both of your hands underneath one of your knees and just hug your knee towards your chest. So we'll be here for 5 deep breaths. So breathing in, think about your spine getting long and expanding. And then exhaling, imagining that knee dropping a little bit closer to your chest. Again, breathing in, getting really long. Exhaling. Breathing in, that spine is really long and flush and relax down to the mat. There's no perfect ways to stretch either, so it's really just what feels good in your body right now. If you want to wiggle your ankle a little bit, sometimes that can feel really nice. But we'll take one more deep breath in. And on the next exhale, we'll drop that leg back down to the ground, nice and easy. And then inhale, go ahead and hug your hands right behind the other knee. So as we take a few deep breaths here, we're in a time where you cannot really hug the people that you want to be able to hug. And while it's not the same, giving yourself a little bit of love, hugging, touching, feeling your own body by stretching it, making it feel better. These are kind of ways that we get that input to ourselves. Give a little bit of self-love. Because it can be hard not being able to hug the ones that we love. But we'll all just give ourselves a little bit of a self-hug right now. So again, a little roll of the ankle if you'd like. One more breath in. And one more breath out. This time we'll hug that first leg back in towards the body again. So we'll do a little bit of a double knee to chest here. And right here it can feel really good. Speaking of that self-love or self-care, just kind of like roll the low back a little bit. Just kind of massage those little bony parts of the pelvis and the low back into the ground. Taking some nice deep breaths in. And breathing out. Nice. Breath in. You can imagine the spine getting long. The knees can splay apart a little bit if that feels good. And then exhaling, maybe hugging a little closer in towards your chest. Again, you can wiggle the ankles a little bit here if that feels good. Give a little bit of blood flow, a little reversal to the body. One more deep breath in. And then slowly let the legs come back down. Nice. So now we'll send the first leg down the mat, whatever one you want to, straighten it out. And then one leg is going to come up towards your chest. You're going to take your opposite hand and then hug that knee across towards the opposite side of your body. You're going to stretch that same arm of the leg you're hugging across out towards the side if that feels okay. And you can kind of send your gaze over those fingertips. So taking a nice deep breath in and then exhaling, twisting a little bit more. Nice. So 5 deep breaths in. If you find yourself clenching or holding on to any area, use your next breath out to let it go. Sometimes our body wants to try to kind of protect itself or hold it in a certain spot, but by using our breath and going gently and slowly and going through some of these really safe motions, we're teaching our body that these rotation motions through the hips and the spine, they're healthy, they're good. They're moving some lubricating fluids through the spine, creating some space. One more deep breath in. Last one, just let it stretch. And then breathing in, coming back to the middle. You can maybe hug that knee in towards your chest for a little squeeze. And then go ahead and exhale, send that leg back down the mat. Now breathing in, taking the opposite leg towards your chest. And then hug that knee towards the opposite side of the body. Again, sending the other arm out to the side. And then looking over that shoulder. So if you feel any tension as you breathe in, try to let it go with the exhale. And every breath in, trying to find a little bit of length and a little bit of stretch from head to heel. Common places to want to hold on here are that leg and the hip that you're pulling over, but just let it go. You're not going to force it or make it go a certain direction. We're just kind of gently having that conversation, trying to find out where we can let it go a little more. And that shoulder too could be relaxed down. One more breath in. And one more breath out, rinsing through the low back and the spine. Nice. And then go ahead and slowly come back to the middle. Hug that knee in towards your chest for an extra little squeeze there. And then go ahead and send that back down. We'll go ahead and bend both of the knees now. And we're going to prepare to bridge or lift the hips up into the air. So you can always bring your feet a little bit closer towards you. Whatever is comfortable for your feet to be flat on the ground. Your hips, your knees, and your ankles should all be in a pretty much of a straight line. So it helps to kind of secure your belly button towards your spine, zipper up your ribs to engage your abdominals, and then slowly go ahead and lift, peel your hips up off the ground, squeeze the buttocks at the top, and then from the top of the spine, between your shoulder blades, slowly roll back down, massaging that low back into the ground again, and then release the belly button, the ribs as the last thing. So we'll put it to breath, breathing in, exhaling, breathing. So we'll do a few of these as you slowly roll up to the top. Think about your chest coming towards your chin, raising, and your chin coming up towards the sky. And then exhaling, slowly coming back down. We'll do a few more. I think I got that idea from Yoga with Adrienne. Been finding a lot of really great videos online to practice myself at home. And I think I might have gotten it backwards, but either way, the idea is that you want to be kind of expanding the upper part of your chest as you come up. Yeah, I think she says chin to chest, chest to sky. But either way, really expanding through the chest. Hey, whatever helps you think about how the way you're moving, right? We'll do one more. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to feel okay. Make you feel stronger. Nice. So now we'll just let the knees come apart from each other and let the feet come in. And just take a little butterfly stretch for a few moments. So nice deep breaths in here. And exhaling. Nice. A few more, breath in. Again, thinking about that chest expanding or really opening up as you inhale. The diaphragm dropping, and then exhaling, letting all that go. Let's do one more breath in. Last breath out, really open through the chest. And then breathe in, bring the feet back up together. Nice. All right, so go ahead and zipper up the ribs, kind of tighten your belly button first. You're going to raise both of your arms just so that your hands are in line with your shoulders. As one knee marches up towards you, you're going to lift the opposite arm up overhead. So it'll look like the right knee marching up, the left arm comes up, and then they both return down. So again, zippering up the ribs, tightening as you march the other leg, the other arm comes up overhead. and then all the way back down. So strong core, keeping that back kind of flat down towards the ground. Go ahead and start again. And then lower, exhaling, tightening as you breathe in. And then exhale, coming down. And I know sometimes the coordination seems like half the battle. There's so many things to think about. My breath, the opposite arm, the opposite leg, keeping my back flat. But just kind of, feel it out. This may be the first time you're doing this, which is great because it's a good one to have in your repertoire. But we'll just practice a few times. So opposite arm and leg, breathing. Opposite arm and leg, breathing. Find the words or the images or the feelings that work for you. And back down. So we'll do a few more on each side. Talk about if images work for you. They call this exercise in the PT world the dead bug. And there's a lot of reasons why it's great, but it's good for core strengthening, for coordination, you're getting the arms involved as well. Because our back and our abdominals, they need to brace and keep strength in themselves when we're moving, not just our legs, but our arms as well. Whether we're standing up and walking, or we're carrying a box, or a graduation cake, or a Mother's Day balloons, we are always kind of moving around and have different things involved. So we want to get our body ready for that. So we'll do a few more, breathing in, exhaling, keeping that strength in the belly button. Nice. One more each side would be good. But if it feels really good for you, keep going, obviously, but we'll do one more here. And then we'll come back down. Awesome job. Good work. Feeling some of that core. Now go ahead and take both hands behind your knee again. And then you're going to straighten your knee up towards the ceiling. Flex the toes towards you so the knee and the leg are straight as much as they can be. And then exhale, go ahead and bend the knee down towards the ground, point the toes down towards the ground. And then again, breathe in, straighten the knee, stamp your heel up towards the ceiling. And then point the toes down towards the ground, bend the knee. And then as you straighten the knee, flex the toes towards you. And then point the toes as you go down towards the ground. So we'll do a few 5 nice deep breaths here. Shoulders are relaxed too. And again, with the coordination, just feel it out. Feel what feels good. You should feel a stretch as you get to the top. Relax as you get to the bottom. Do 2 more. And last one. And little wiggle of the ankle if it feels good. I know I can use a few little clockwise and counterclockwise. Nice. Exhale, come down to the ground. So go ahead and inhale, bring the other leg back up. And then we'll do the same, straightening the knee, flexing the toes towards us, stamping the foot to the ceiling as you breathe in, and then exhaling as you bend the knee, point the toes down to the ground. So again, just feel it out. Feel what feels right in your body right now on this side. Use your breath to help you do that, because what feels good on the right side might feel very different from what feels good on the left side. What felt good yesterday might feel different today. It's all about just being present and just kind of learning what feels good in your body. And I know for me, I'm usually commenting that my left side's a little bit different than my right. And I hypothesize that many of us, driving has a lot to do with that. And I just finished a little bit of a drive, probably the longest one I've taken in the COVID world. So I know getting out and doing some stretches after has been super helpful for me. So I'm so happy you guys are with me tonight and that we can do some of these things together. Let's do 2 more. Last one. I'll take a little ankle roll at the top, just little circles, little alphabet maybe action, whatever feels good. All right, M, O, M for all the moms out there. And then put the foot back down on the ground. Awesome. Now we'll take the first leg that we started with, go ahead and cross that ankle over the knee. Now you're going to take your hands, one hand will be on the opposite side, the outside. One hand is going to kind of thread the needle and go through the leg. You're going to hug that opposite knee in so that the one that's crossed is also being hugged in at the same time. The hands that have gone through, they can either be on the back side of the thigh. I really like to put my hands on my shin for this one. It just helps me relax my shoulders a little bit more. If this feels like too much, you can actually keep that foot down on the ground and just either pull that knee in towards your chest, or you can kind of push it away in that same figure 4 stretch. But if you found a spot that feels good here, we'll take 5 deep breaths in. And you're like, good, what does she mean by good? If you found a stretch in your hip, in the muscles around your leg, seeing if you can breathe into it. And you found a spot that works for you if you can breathe into it. So we'll do one more breath in. And breathing out, bringing the leg back down to the ground, unhooking, bringing that one back down, and then going ahead and switching. So crossing the other ankle on top of the knee, just above the thigh. Go ahead and kind of thread through as well as the outside. Gently hug that knee towards your chest. So breathing in, finding length through your spine from your head down towards your tailbone. And then exhaling, seeing if you can just kind of snuggle the shoulders down, hugging that knee a little bit closer in. Letting go where you can. Inhaling. Exhaling, maybe pushing that knee out a little bit with the elbow. Nice. 2 more deep breaths in. Exhale. 1 more breath in. And slowly bring the leg back down as you breathe out. Awesome. So now we're going to go ahead and roll to the stomach. So you can kind of go towards one side here, kind of readjust as we come to the stomach. I really hope the camera on Instagram is working, or the Facebook one, but I know my Instagram one is, so hi everybody. Okay, so we're going to be just kind of starting flat down on the stomach for right now. And feels good. You can kind of bend your knees and just windshield wiper them a few times side to side. Just kind of getting a little bit of rotation in the hips and the low back. Your neck can be relaxed. It can be turned to one side or the other. You can make even like a little pillow with your hands. Nice. We'll take 1 more each side. And then we'll bring the ankles over the knees and bringing the legs back down. Next, we'll bring our hands right underneath our shoulders. Now, to keep our neck safe in a position on the stomach, think about just tucking the chin slightly towards your spine and looking as many inches at the ground in front of you as feels comfortable. So you never want to like strain your neck to look straight up in front of you if that doesn't feel good. You don't want to be looking down too far at the ground, but I find looking maybe like 2 or 3 inches past my fingertips is a pretty good spot for me. And your vision can really guide where your head and your neck sit. So using your hands, using strength in your thighs and your legs, we're going to press the chest up, breathe in, and then exhale. So like 2 or 3 inches past the fingertips, that's going to change to 4 to 6 inches, however far it feels good. Just keep that nice straight alignment with the neck, imagining kind of a slope going from your shoulder blades towards your head. So again, breathing in, exhaling. So we're going to do 10 or so. That was about 2. Breathing in, exhaling, Inhale. Exhale. You are doing so great. We're halfway through. Breathing in. Exhaling. And if you find that is good, then rest there. But keep coming with me for 5 more. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. Finding strength in your legs. Riding the wave, coming up. Nice. 2 more. Breathing in. Exhaling. Last one. And back down. Awesome. So you can make that little pillow with your hands again. And then bend the knees. And if you want to do windshield wipers again, side to side, that can feel really good. If you want to do like bring your feet apart from each other, then back in. I was like, that might feel kind of nice. Just kind of like letting them come in and out. You can even do like one at a time, just a few times. Little wiggles. Nice. Our hips love to be moved in different directions, and that rotation is a really nice one. So next we're just going to come up onto our forearms. So you're going to keep your hips and your low back down on the ground, but just coming up onto where your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Your hands are right in front of your elbows, and you're at a good place where you can cross your hands and reach one elbow towards the other one. So before our legs were super strong as we were lifting up and down, but right now we can kind of just let the legs relax. You can let your low back relax. Really let your neck relax and your shoulders come down towards the ground. Again, I like looking maybe just 4 or 5 inches past my fingertips. Taking a breath in to get long through the chest. Breathing out, letting the belly and the low back sag and relax a little bit. We'll be here for 5 breaths. If this is too much, you can slide your elbows out a little bit and come down a little bit lower. But if you find that this is a good place, we'll be here for breathing in and out here. I think that was an exhale in and out here. Breathing in. Nice. We'll do 1 more full breath cycle here. Again, letting the neck, head relax. So 1 more breath in, and then exhale to slowly come back down. And we can do a few little more windshield wipers. Turn your head to one side or the other side. Sweet. All right, so now we're going to come to hands and knees position. A good way to do that is to curl your toes underneath you, put your hands down in front of your shoulders, and just kind of press up onto your knees. Awesome. If you have any like sensitivity in your knees, sometimes folding your mat or grabbing like a towel or just like a robe, something that you can put underneath your knees feels pretty nice. So we'll start with our knees right underneath our hips, so in line here. I like to tuck my toes underneath, but if you want to have them flat, that's fine too. You can have your hands right underneath your shoulders. So a good width is about 2 fists fitting in between them. And you really want a nice wide grip with your hands. So if you're imagining you were opening 2 jars, you'd be opening them outwards on both of your hands. That's kind of the grip that you have into the ground right now. That allows the inside part of your elbow to shine forward. And your head and your neck are nice and straight and strong. You're looking pretty much straight down towards the ground, just a few inches past your fingertips. And as we start to breathe, that pelvic tilt that we started with in the beginning, we're going to just do a few of those here. So breathing in, tilting the pelvis so that the tailbone comes up. And then exhaling. Again, thinking about being on the floor, rounding that back into the floor, but now it's being rounded into the ceiling, into the sky. So again, just tilting the pelvis up gently. And then exhaling, kind of rounding through the low back here, pointing the tailbone down towards the ground. Awesome. So let's just do a few of these. Again, the neck and the shoulders can stay just steady and strong here, shoulders strong. Just kind of thinking about the pelvis moving for a few more before we start to work our way up. Exhaling and inhaling. Just going as far as feels comfortable. Now, if you'd like, we're going to start to work our way up the spine a little bit. So as you tilt one way, you're going to move up into between the shoulder blades a little bit. And then as you tilt the other way, again, allow it like a wave, a string of pearls, a string of blocks to work their way up your vertebrae in between the spine, shoulder blades. So breathing out, tilting the pelvis down. Each vertebrae comes up towards the shoulder blades, pressing the shoulders out away from each other as the pelvis tilts down. And then breathing in as the pelvis tilts up. The belly button comes down towards the ground, the shoulder blades come closer together, the chest starts to shine out. So keep your breathing going. If this is too much, you can keep with just the pelvic tilts. But if you'd like to progress towards the head and the neck, this can feel really nice. So if you'd like to give it a try, we'll go ahead and tilt the pelvis up. And then just gently lift the chest, lift the head, just you're looking a few more inches up. Not too much, but a few more inches up. And then as the pelvis tilts the other way, gently just dropping, allowing the neck and the head to relax. Nice, moving slowly with the breath. And always in a pain-free range of motion. This is the angry cat. And this is the cow. Some people call it the camel. But imagining that belly kind of dropping down towards the ground. Let's do one more cat. And one more cow, looking straight up. Awesome. All right, now we can bring the feet a little bit closer together. You can bring your knees a little bit farther apart from each other. And again, if you have that towel underneath your knees, that's always really nice. If you want something to kind of sit back on, you can put a towel underneath your knees as well. But we're going to kind of sit our hips back towards our heels and then just kind of stretch your arms in front of you. You can keep your head up, you can keep your shoulders stretched actively, or what feels nice sometimes is to bend the elbows, let your head kind of relax down onto the ground, or maybe a nice pillow would be good here. But we're going to do a few deep breaths in and out. Inhale. And exhale. Letting go. We'll do two more. Breathing in. And out. Last breath out. Imagine like you're fogging a mirror. Breathe in. Open your mouth and super foggy. Now breathe in, go ahead and come back up onto hands and knees position. Awesome. So from here, you can transition to either a seated position for a bit of meditation, or you can go ahead and lay flat on your back. Nice job with the movement, everybody. I'm going to tilt this up in the case that it is working. So if you are seated, go ahead and find a spot on a chair where your bum is in contact with the seat, your feet are flat on the ground, and your knees are bent. If you're on the ground, you can have your legs crossed together or splayed out in front of you, V style or straight in front. And if you're on your back, just get comfortable, kind of snuggle those shoulder blades in underneath you, let your chest expand a little bit more. You can bend your knees, splay them out to the side, or have them in front of you. So let's just start with a few deep breaths in. And just maybe set an intention for the next few minutes, the next few breaths here. So as you inhale, what would you like to get out of these next few moments? Maybe it's just thanking yourself for moving in a different way than you have before. Or maybe it's thinking about how you can do things a little bit differently next time. But most of all, just being here right now. I know my intention is to thank everybody for being here with me. It was so nice to move with everyone. Nice inhale. And then exhale. So you can softly close your eyes in whatever position you're comfortable in. As you breathe, I want you to think of some sort of scale. Now, it can be a thermometer scale. It could be a circle percentage, like a pie. It could be from like a volume scale from a 0 to 100 on like a bar that's moving. I want you to think of something that represents a scale to you, 0 to 10, 0 to 100. So as you breathe in, imagine that scale moving in a positive direction to full. And then as you exhale, imagine that scale working back towards neutral. So again, breathing in, trying to reach that same place you were at before, if not a little bit more. And then as you exhale, seeing if there's any of that percentage at the very beginning, there's a little stale air in there that you can let out, push out a little bit more. Again, breathing in, letting the diaphragm drop, ribs expand, chest expand, seeing if you can really get a full deep breath, maybe hold for a moment, and then exhale, really let it all go. So as you imagine the scale and your full deep breaths in and your full deep breaths out, I want you to think about that oxygen percentage, what we talked about in the beginning. 100% is perfect and 90 to 100% is great. I have worked with patients who have been in like the 88% range or 92% range, and they've needed to use oxygen to help them and move more slowly, and it can be really challenging for them to move. So as you breathe in, think about 100%. And exhale, really just kind of let it rest a moment, let that wave recede so we can get ready to work again on the next one. And we're not always thinking about this, right? We're usually moving about our day, doing different things. So if we can just really take a few minutes here, one more minute, to just really focus on getting that 100% experience as much as possible. Inhaling. And then exhaling. So as we wind down and maybe really think about and send some good intentions to those folks battling and recovering from COVID, those people in the 50 to 60% range, that they can increase again, that we can stay in the levels that work well for our body, and that we can know our body, so if it does get into trouble, we know how to really help it. So on a positive note, you've done so much good work to help yourself right now. One more deep breath in. And exhaling, letting it go. So you can slowly, in your own time, open your eyes, start to wiggle around, move some of the joints in the fingers and toes a little bit, circle the wrists and ankles, maybe sitting up a little bit straighter. And just thanking yourself for doing a lot of really good work on the floor, as well as inside of your body, inside of your lungs, inside of your breath.